So, let's get to what actually happened on the field. And over the weekend, Ohio State held their annual Student Appreciation Day, in which the students could go ahead and watch practice. And it was open to all the media as well. So it was a good opportunity for fans and media alike to see what this Ohio State football team looks like at this point. And they got to see the quarterbacks. And that's what everyone has been talking about over the last couple of days is what the quarterbacks did and how they performed. And your boy, Lincoln Kienholz, went ahead and apparently lit it up over what Julian Sain was able to show on the field. He was the performer of the day from the quarterback position. And it sounds like, based off of what Ryan Day said afterwards, it sounds like this competition is truly that. It is a competition. He was quoted as saying, the competition is neck and neck. So, and again, he also said the same thing when it was between McCord and Devin Brown. McCord ended up winning that job. And while it did officially take 2 games into the regular season for him to name him that starter for the rest of the year, I think we all kind of thought that's how it was going to play out. So, there's a chance he's just kind of blowing some smoke at Julian Sain to try to get him a little bit motivated to kind of take that job. But at the same time, your performance on the field kind of speaks to how you've been playing. So what are your thoughts on the reports that came out, about the quarterback specifically over the weekend?
Well, Ryan, you know me. I am someone who loves to take victory laps. I harken back to when I asked, do you think Lincoln has a real chance? With Lincoln's athleticism, if he's close up there, man, do you play him? Because Julian's not. And mind you, I do want to point this out. I'm not worried about Julian. If you ask me still to today, I would tell you Julian Sain is probably going to be the starter for the Ohio State Buckeyes. I still believe in him. I think he's highly talented. Now they did say, when guys get in his face, man, it's a little struggle, threw a pick to Jermaine. Shout out to Maine.
Yeah.
Heard that he almost threw a pick to Aaron Scott. But or I won't say threw a pick to Aaron Scott. Aaron Scott almost picked him off.
I say Aaron Scott had a pretty good move based on what I saw.
Yeah. And so I still believe he has the talent. But doggone it, man. I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. It's hard for me to believe. Like, whatever I saw in that game against Missouri, I don't give a damn. Don't care about it. I throw it out. Hey, I don't care. It's impossible for me to believe that over the span of 3 years, because we already knew that he was a developmental project from the time he came to Ohio State. Even with him being the 15th quarterback in his class and a 4-star, which is pretty decent coming from where he's from. But I was like, man, this kid was the national Gatorade High School athlete of the year. He was that. Ryan Day said that the ball's popping out of his arm. His skill set as a passer has developed, and it was impossible for me to believe over 3 years that couldn't happen. And honestly, I'm happy that this is a real competition. And you're right, and Ryan, you are completely correct. This could be Ryan Day blowing smoke. This could be. I don't think it is. I don't. And also Ryan Day, usually quarterback competitions for him don't end until damn near the season starts. But I truly believe this is what Ohio State, the team needs. I think the competition is gonna push both these players. I'm happy that Tamian's not in this. Now he did get some first team snaps, but I don't believe he needs to be in this competition at all. We had a space this weekend, and it was me, Mike, and Terry, and Terry and Cam, and shout out to Cam. He kept talking about how if they would prefer Tavian St. Clair starting if Julian Sain got hurt, knock on wood. And I said, you must be out of your rabbit ass. Dude, there's no way. And also what I did love, and I want to talk to you about this also, because I want to get your thoughts on this, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Day said this is the first time he's ever let his quarterbacks go live. the first time. And I think he did that because he wanted to test Julian. There, what we saw a play where Julian got, tried to run up the middle, stopped him on a 4th and goal. But I think he did that because he wants to see. I think he's trying to test Julian and say, "Hey, we know what Lincoln can do right here. Hell, we know what Tavia can do. Do you have the balls to go out and do it?" And so, what do you think about that?
I think it's interesting because he is someone. Day is someone who has talked about wanting to, at least coming into the season, he talked about how he wanted to protect his players, essentially. That's the whole reason why he didn't commit to a spring game right away. He basically wanted to make sure that there was going to be no injury and that the guys who played, who were part of having the longest season in college football history, that they were going to get some rest. And he even talked about it today, is what he's realizing now is the guys need more reps. He mentioned, he said, he joked, he's like, yeah, I'm going to call the NCAA, try to see if I can get 5 more weeks of spring ball. And it's because, he thinks some of these younger guys need reps. And honestly, I know Lincoln's not young, but that includes him. Like, he wants to see more reps from him. Julian definitely falls in that category. Like, he's a guy who needs reps, especially these first team reps. And I think him going live with the quarterbacks, I don't necessarily know if it's him trying to gauge the toughness of him necessarily, but it is, honestly, I think it's more of a, okay, I know what Lincoln can do in a live game situation because he did that while I watched him get pulverized against Missouri, but at least I've seen it. Let's see how Julian does against one of the best defenses in the country as well, our own. And I want to see how he responds. And while the Saturday was not his best performance, but like you, I still believe Sayin will ultimately win the starting job once the fall rolls around. However, I do got to give you some credit because this job is a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. Like, Lincoln has balled out. And honestly, that's what you want to see. You want to see these two guys push each other. You don't want it to see it be I don't necessarily want it to see it be a lopsided effort when it's two guys who haven't really taken meaningful college football snaps.
Right. I brought this up. Like, I love this quote. I've never heard this quote before. Sage, were you in the Marine Corps? Just curious because I was in the Navy, but it says the more you sweat in peace, the less you bleed in war. It's pretty badass, actually.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Do you think? Well, I guess I'll ask you this: with the spring game coming up next weekend, who do you think gets more first team reps in that game, Sayin or Keehan-Holtz, or do you think he splits them evenly?
You gotta give them equal reps. You gotta give them equal reps. The same amount. I'll be quite frank with you. I don't care to see Tavian that day. I'm so honest. I don't care to see Tavian that day. Now he's gonna have when I say I don't care to see him, I mean he's not a factor to me. Now my deepest fear is that one of these two guys transferring out if they don't win the job, which is also why I don't think I think Ryan Day is gonna wait to say anything until he has a sprint. And listen, is it dirty? Sure. Do I care? No, Ryan, please, for the love of God, do that. Don't let anybody transfer out.
Well, I think I mentioned this to you on Thursday. I think if they believe that Sayin is actually going to win the job and Lincoln doesn't have a shot, I think he will tell them before the spring portal opens, just to be fair to him. But it doesn't seem like that's the case. It doesn't seem like there's a clear winner at this point. So I don't think either one of them is going to transfer out. Now, at the end of next year, I do think one of them will. Just because, especially, in either case, because if Lincoln wins, because if Lincoln wins the job, then all of a sudden you've got Tavian St. Clair, who's been in the offense for another year as a homegrown kid, and he's quite frankly he's more physically impressive than Sayin is. So he's got a shot to win the job. And then on the flip side, if it's Sayin who wins the job, Keehan-Holtz, hey, I've been here 3 years. I haven't seen the field. I need to go see the field. And either case, I would understand it. So
I have more question.
Okay.
What percentage what percent chance do you think right now Lincoln has of starting?
If I had to put a number on it, I would say probably 25%, which is a lot higher than what I had before the spring. So that's probably where I would lean, and that could go higher after Saturday, like depending on how he does in the spring game. What about you?
35. I'll go 35.
Oh, okay, so you're higher. All right.
Yeah, I was gonna say 40, but I'm around 35. Like I said, I'm still a believer in Julian. Like it's not, and I mean for me personally, I don't care who the quarterback is.
You don't care?
No, I don't care. I said this last year. I don't care who the quarterback is. This is all you got to do for me. You win that game on the last weekend in November, and you win the national championship. You win me a Big Ten championship. That's all I need you to do. That's all I need you to do. So
okay, well, the quarterback last year only did one of those things.
Yeah,
he only did one of those things. It was the biggest one. It was the most important one, but he only did one of those things.